Standing ovation, standing ovation. Rise up for the Wu-Tang Clan. Throw them up, throw them up. If you're a Wu-Tang Clan fan, throw them up. One. Wow. Welcome to 92nd Street Y. Give them a big round of applause, please. Before we get started, I go by the name of Sway Calloway. What's up? Listen, I'm here because this man right here is a brother to me. I'll tell you a quick story. Back when Into the Wu came out in 1993, I was a on-air personality on a station called 106 KML, Northern California. Me and my partner, DJ King Tech, started a show called the World Famous Wake Up Show. And our purpose and our intention was we called it Wake Up because it was a double entendre. We wanted to wake people up because it was at nighttime, and we also wanted to wake them up to information in artists and groups that they weren't privy to. And the first time we met RZA is the Wu-Tang Clan came to perform at a club in San Francisco called Club Mirage. And we were just fans already. We were already on the radio. Their name was starting to grow, but it hadn't really sat in yet in Northern California and on the West Coast. And it was something we wanted to make sure we were advocates of. And I remember this. I don't know if you remember RZA. Our good friend Prince Ice was the DJ, Club Mirage, and the Wu-Tang Clan, they performed, and we're flipping. We're literally doing backflips that these guys are here, but not everybody got it yet, right? And I remember after the show, I don't know if you remember this, RZA, you remember this? RZA kind of turned around and said, yo, what's going on? What's happening? Who's in charge? And, because the response wasn't quite there yet. And then they all pointed at my partner, King Tech, and me and said, he's in charge, right? And you asked us what's going on, and I recall distinctly King Tech telling RZA, well, it's still relatively new. You guys are from another place. I think people will get it, but you got to come out to Northern California. You got to come to the Bay and immerse yourself in the culture. And I say about a month later, RZA gave us a call and said, hey, we're here. Right? We was like, you're here? What do you mean you're here? And he talked to Steve Rifkin at the time, who was a friend of ours. We worked a lot of the groups that Steve Rifkin had signed to Loud. And they moved to the Bay Area. And we were so impressed by that every chance we got on that radio station, we promoted any event they were doing, any concert they were doing, and then eventually they immersed themselves into the Bay Area culture. We hadn't seen a lot of East Coast groups do that. What it meant to us is that RZA and the Wu-Tang Clan valued what we had to say and what we had to offer to the culture. So we've been brothers ever since that. We've done many projects together. RZA came and did a video for us called The Anthem on a project we put out back in 1998. And on that song was like Pharoah Monch, Chino XL, KRS-One, Tech Nine, J.O. Felony, Eminem, all these Red Alert. And RZA came out and just did that on GP. He never charged us anything or anything like that. And we ultimately ended up living near each other in the same place. And our kids went to school together and all these different things. And so when I watched this series from season, matter of fact, my partner King Tech is the music supervisor on this series, right? All 3 seasons, so it came full circle. So when I watch these stories, for many reasons, I'm so elated to see how far we've come in 30 years. This is the 30th year anniversary of the first album.
Some of these guys wasn't born.
That some of these dudes weren't born. Who's not 30? Raise your hand. Yeah, look at him, he wasn't even born. And you doing a hell of a job. Give him a big round of applause. I see you, TJ. And so this is when they say, did you ever think hip hop would take it this far? You know what I mean? These stories are so important, and it's so important that we are the writers of these stories, that we tell our own stories. You know, this last episode was incredible. You know, it was told from an allegorical approach, but there was a lot of gems in there for those who know, right? A lot of metaphors and a lot of things we were seeing that were playing out visually. So I want to give you, RZA, I just want to give you that. I came here really to give you love in front of people. You know, because I never really had a chance to do that like this. But let's get into it. Give them a round of applause one more time. Give it up for Marcus Calendar playing as Power. Give it up for the elite MC himself, the one and only Dave East playing Method Man. Give it up to TJ Adams as Old Dirty Bastard. Give it up for Sadiq Sanderson as Ghostface Killer. Give it up for Shameik Moore as Raekwon. And the most snazziest dressed guy on the stage right now, who's also a good friend of ours. He took me to some Indian restaurant recently and burned my tongue off in the valley. Give it up for the one and only Alex Tse. Alex, I'll start with you. Okay,
let's go.
This, you know, we talked about this episode. First of all, Only Built for Cuban Links, easily one of the greatest hip-hop albums ever made. The title of this episode is Criminology, one of the songs off the project. This is different. This allegorical approach that you guys took is you know, it kind of it's different. It's kind of threw a lot of folks for a loop, you know, but I really enjoyed it. How did y'all come up with this concept?
Well, first, I also want to give a shout out to the writer of the episode, Gabe Fonseca. I think he's in the audience. Yeah, and and the
Yes, sir.
and the director of the episode, Matthew Ross. I think he's in the audience too. So let's shout them out. Yeah, you know what I mean. This is something we talked about. I mean, what's been beautiful about this is that almost everything you see from season 1 to 3 is stuff that we talked about before season 1. So we always talked about, like, okay, when we get to these albums, which, you know. So I was born before 1993, so I was a fan, and they always listened. I listened to them. We listened to them like movies. Like we received them like movies. So it's like, all right, when we get to the point in the story, if we're lucky to tell the story of these solo albums, one, we want to tell them like that. Two, you know, how many times do we want to see people record? I mean, we've done that a lot in the show, and, you know, I think it would be a disservice to do a show about the Wu-Tang Clan and not approach it like Wu-Tang's music, which is to take chances, to do risky things, and be creative. And so, you know, we've talked about doing that from day one.
What I was most impressed about is how you guys were able to play on real-life conundrums, if you will, in rap, when you think about the relationship between Ghost and Big and Notorious B.I.G., when we see Fat Joe in there and he talking about jealous ones, envy. that was really clever, man. You know, speak to that.
Well, also our writer's room, like I say, Gabe is here. Gabe is a hip-hop head.
Where's Gabe? I got to see him.
Stand
up, Gabe.
This guy's a hip-hop encyclopedia. Alex is a hip-hop head. A lot of people in our room, Michael. We had a room full of people that also love the art. And with leaders like me and Alex, we were able to, those who wasn't in tune, to guide them in that direction. And, you know, the U in Wu-Tang is for unpredictable, right? And the W is for witty. So we strive to make it witty and unpredictable. We didn't, like you said, we didn't want to do a normal biopic that's just, you know, just keeping you in one location, one mindset. We wanted to go into the mind of the art itself. And also without, as when Gabe was writing this episode, more people died at first, all right? And I was like, hold on, let's break it back a little bit, you know what I mean? But to give you the entertainment, to give you what a hip-hop album does, and to be able to still never lose the through line of what the story of the season is.
Okay, so I'm curious to the actors. I'll start with you, Sadiq. You play Ghostface Killer. Go ahead, stand up, man. Stand up, man. AKA Tony Starks. Did you were you aware? Were you aware of the storylines behind the metaphors? Like, did you know about Ghostface and comments he made about Big and copying Nas's album cover in real life?
Yeah, I mean, I think doing the episode, I definitely did a lot of research and stuff like that. So some of these things were made, you know, I just learned as we were filming. And sometimes, you know, I wouldn't get a reference, and the director, you know, Matt or you know, Alex or RZA would come up to me or, you know, tell me like this ties to this. So I was kind of like learning as I was going through the process. But it's also just that type of shit is like, that type of stuff is cool for me because like as an actor, like my approach is really just looking at the script, like looking what's on the page, you know. So certain things might like go over my head, but also like I'm trying to live truthfully under those circumstances, whether or not I know where exactly it's coming from. So when I learn some shit and I'm like, oh, like this connects to that, then it kind of deepens my connection to it when I'm portraying it for the screen.
I felt real anger in the character you played towards Frank White. I really felt that.
Right, so it was knowing that, you know, the connection between Ghost and Big, but it was also for me, we think Frank is the, you know, killing all our people. So that's what I'm gonna play. That's what's important to me is knowing what's happening in the moment, in the scene, and playing that as truthfully as I can. So that's what you really saw.
Okay, all right, Shamik Moore. I said to Shamik backstage, I said, man, you really do an excellent job. Raekwon is probably one of the hardest characters to play because he's so distinguished in everything, the way he walk, talk, you know, the way his mouth sits, you know, in real life, right? And I said to Shamik, you do an excellent Ray. And you said I wasn't even being Ray. Right? So what was it like playing these alter egos for you? Being, you know, you're a seasoned actor. You're, to me, critically acclaimed actor. You know.
Well, thank you.
What was that?
I mean, as far as characters in general, I like to find a part of myself when I'm acting. You know, my approach is to be as real and believable and as grounded as possible, as rooted as possible, so you feel like you're meeting me. You know, in order for me to do that, I can't be acting. And so it was very important to meet Ray at the start of all of this and pay attention to those things that is just in him. Like, you know what I mean? It's just how he pay attention to those things. And that way, whatever Gabe wrote or you guys came up in the writer's room, it didn't matter. It was like, if we talking like this, that's what it is. But what exactly is the scene? So I could be like this in that scene. You know what I mean? It's you know what I mean? I approach it like that with every character. You know. So in this specific episode, I was Lex Diamond. That's what I meant when I said I'm not even playing Ray because I ain't put on the voice as deep as when I'm, you know, episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, the rest of them. Well, not 6. But.
By the way, give him a round of applause for that vest he has on. I thought I was doing something with my vest. These actors, boy, I tell you. TJ, you still in character, huh? You didn't get a chance to meet Old Dirty, man. I'll tell you something. One of the last times I saw Old Dirty, RZA came up to me, and it was at, what was that show? In Southern Cal, the one with Rock the Bells, yeah. It was Rock the Bells, 10,000 people in the crowd, waiting patiently. We're about an hour wait, and the promoter's throwing me and my partner King Tech on stage to do a song and dance, right? To the point where they damn near start booing us. But RZA came up to me and said, hey, take a camera, go to the hotel, go get Dirty, and film that, right? And Dirty eventually came to the stage, and that was the last time I saw all of them perform together on that stage. That was the last time I saw him. I'm so happy that I got a chance to see that. When I see you're someone who never met him. You know what I mean? I'm very impressed with your interpretation of him.
You, man. I appreciate
Absolutely.
it. Thank you.
What has this experience been like for you?
Oh, the experience has been like life changer, man. Like it's been, cause I grew up on Wu-Tang. Like it's been like just amazing. Like you see, I'm a loss for words. That's an experience it's been for me. I'm a loss for words for it, man. Cause like you know, I looked up to the RZA. I used to bank music in Philadelphia, and we mocked our whole thing after Wu-Tang. So it was a full manifestation in real life. To see it come true is just amazing.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I'm wondering, when you play a role so well, do you take a piece of that person with you even after the set? Do you find yourself
Like I might have had it before I even started. That's what they. That's why they casted me. Like I feel like Wu-Tang is definitely like tapped into the universe on a higher power, and like the whole cast is like really the best cast, non-biased I ever seen on television. Like non-biased because it really is.
Okay. Marcus,
Yes, sir. What's up, man?
I know Power personally. That's what's up. That's my family, man. It's, you know, I know Power's the type of person I believe that if you're not doing it right, he gonna let you know.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Absolutely.
Has he ever let you know? What'd he say to you?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, I could speak to like the first time I met Power. The first time I met him was on set. We were like, it was season 1. We were about 7 episodes in, right? And I felt like everybody in the cast met who they were playing. I'm like, yo, Sadiq was like, yeah, I met Ghost the other day at a dinner. I said, yo, so where Power at? You know what I mean? I'm going around talking to people. Every time I talk to somebody that knows Power, they're like, oh, you ain't meet P? Yeah, oh, you got to meet P, da-da-da-da-da. So I finally met him, and the way I met him was I get a text message out of nowhere that said, yo, what's up? This is OG Power. I'm like, okay, what's up? Then I get a phone call. Then we get on the phone. I was on set. We had to pause production because it was raining crazy. We get on the phone. We spoke for like 3 hours. The first conversation we ever had, we spoke for like 3 hours. Then we get off the phone. Lunch happens. Then I get a knock on the door. I said, who's at my trailer right now? I'm in Staten Island. It's raining. Like, who's knocking on my joint right now? I open the door, and it's Power again. Power comes in. I'm like, yo, oh, shit. Can we curse in here?
It's too late, man.
Okay, all right, yeah.
I already
Yo, it's
started the trend.
Wu-Tang. It's Wu-Tang. You had a Wu-Tang screening. There's going to be, you know how it is. So, boom, right? He comes in. We talking. And we like catching up, and it was like, yo, like meeting him and talking to him was like, oh shit, like this is, I'm talking to the person I'm playing. It was a very surreal moment. And then, of course, the first thing I asked was, yo, am I doing it right? Do I got it right? And he was just like, yeah, you know, like he never gave me a pointer. He never gave me, yo, do it like this, do it like that. It was never like that. You know what I'm saying? All he told me was stories. All he told me was just things about him. But the beautiful thing is that me and him get along in real life. Like our relationship was very organic to this day. Like that's my guy. So
That's what's up. Wow, this guy right here, man. I met this dude on the east side one day on a corner. I love telling this story. I love telling it. I swear, we were on the corner, east side of Manhattan, and we started talking. He told me who he was. I invited him up to Sway in the morning, and he came up to the show. And since then, man, this guy's career has been phenomenal. I've been able to watch his evolution, not just as an artist, but as a man, you know, as a father, as a businessman. And I think he personifies everything that's great about what this culture can do for us. Davies.
Sway, what up, baby?
Come on, man. You know what's interesting playing Method Man is that Meth is out here doing it like he's 22 again, right? Like Meth could have just played himself, right? You know, he's doing that that well, man. But I'm curious, you get to live as a very respected, well-respected, elite rap star in this day and age, but you get to relive the life of an elite rap star in that era, right? Are you finding any parallels, any similarities?
Yeah, I kind of I get both. So I get a lot of Method Man love, and then I get Dave East love too. So yeah, for sure.
Did it seem like the MC had it harder back then when you learned more about his story?
Yeah, and he had to, he was sharing it. It was a group. The Wu was a whole group. But I think it was definitely harder back then. I think there's a lot more money in it now. I think it just changed over the time.
So I know y'all see each other all the time. I'm sure you bumped into each other. The first time he saw you play him, what did he say to you?
He liked it. That's all I was really waiting on was his. You know what I mean? Once he let me know I did my thing, I was like, all right, I could portray him. You know what I mean?
My partner King Tech is the music supervisor, and also Rich Nice. We brought him on board on the East Coast. So Rich Nice, track masters, and they coached you through recording, right? As an MC, learning Met's lyrics. You know what I mean? How do you rate it on a scale of skill set in terms of being
not easy?
Not easy.
Not easy because he was flowing, and I feel like I knew a lot of the music like distant, but when I really had to read the lyrics and see what he was actually saying, Meth was crazy.
I feel like Dave East, Method Man, and RZA should get in the studio and do a project. What do y'all think about that idea? Right? That a possibility?
Possible, very, very possible.
Sway, you gonna get 10% on that?
I don't want. Well, y'all did put me in episode 5 of season 2. I don't know if you guys saw that. If you haven't, go ahead, do the knowledge, walk it back. I would just like to see it happen. I don't do nothing for money no more. Only built for Cuban links. This, one of the visual metaphors that I really appreciated in this episode is how Lex was mixing the crack to create this purple product, and then referenced it as, what we're doing is going to be totally different from what everybody else is doing. If you were around at that time when Wu-Tang Clan, what made them so special is everything they were doing was different from what everybody else was doing, right? And so it kind of put a spin on why that purple tape became the purple tape that has become legendary. How did you come up with that? How did you walk that?
With the purple tape idea or the whole concept, as Alex said earlier, when we first started talking about this series, we knew that we was going to go in a trajectory that will potentially get us to the solo albums. Of course, Hulu got to say season 2, season 3, and re-up. When they re-up on season 3 and said, well, this will be our final season, and I think we both were pretty exhausted as well. This has not been an easy job, bro. Let's say that out loud. And I love all these.
Yeah, you can say that.
But this is not an easy job, all right?
Well, who was most difficult out of all these guys? Now that we're here, you could go ahead and cover that.
My mic's not working right now.
No, it ain't that. It ain't that they were difficult. It's just once again, for me, it's dealing with 9 young alpha males, right? Young men with their own strength, their ability, their beauty, and their trajectory, and then having to be, kind of put into this form that we got to guide them. And that's not easy to do. But point being made, we knew that these solo albums were all like audio movies. When I produced Liquid Swords and I produced Cuban Links, Return to the 36 Chambers, I was trying to make a movie that you could put in your car, drive to VA, because in New York we would drive from New York to VA or New York to DC and blast our music, right? So I wanted people to drive and have this visualization. Raekwon, he came with the whole like, yo, let's like, use our aliases, Lex Diamonds, you know what I mean? So everybody went and made their own names, Bobby Stills, you know what I mean? Johnny Blaze and all these different names. And so making this episode is like, okay, how do we take that and then decipher it into a script that could be an episode? And who in the writer's room is the guy to do it? And like we mentioned Gabe a few times in here, but Gabe is a total hip hop guy who totally understands, who totally gets it. So we're like, yo, bong, that's give it to Gabe. You know what I mean? And Gabe brought it back like bong. Then who's gonna direct it? Well, we had Matthew Ross from last season, who did a great job with us. We actually hired Matthew because he did a film that reminds me of Scorsese, right? His technique. If you go back to last season, you'll see episode 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, where we do the voiceover while he's walking and talking. That's the Scorsese style. This is a mafia style film. So we had to go get the right director to help bring it alive. So when you creating TV and producing TV, me and my partner Alex, it's like producing albums, but on a 20 times scale. You know what I mean? And so those are some of the elements, Scott.
Yeah, and if I could add to it, because the other part, I mean, all joking aside, in terms of the challenge of this job, I mean, you saw it on screen. Like, we don't do episodes where we always go back to the same sets, and we're trying to push the limits. That's, also I think our line producer Gail Behringer's in the house, our production designer. And
Hey, Gail.
Nick is in the house, and we push it as far as we can to try to get the most we can out of a dollar while trying to give you the audience stuff like this. Do you know what I mean? And that in itself presents a lot of challenges, and we're lucky we have a team that stepped up to the challenge and wanted the challenge.
I'm wondering, like, to the actors, just knowing now that you're hearing all the, I don't know if y'all was aware of all this process that they had to go through to get to these scripts. Did it feel perplexing? Or did you ever feel lost in a script? What was that like? Let's start with Shami.
This specific episode, I mean, I think just in general, I felt solid in what I knew, just approaching my character, but I think I always kind of felt like I needed a little bit of more, like something to hold on to bring it out to my best ability. I'd always play the music before every scene, every take, or I'm like, what was I saying? I don't remember. I just always say like, "Hey, yo, where my killer tape at, God?" Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
criminology,
right? Like, I just needed something, you know what I mean? And I feel like I was always. So is it perplexed? Yes. Like yeah, but we get it done, don't we? I mean, so
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I feel like 6 was one of those episodes where you read it and it's just like, yo, how the fuck we about to do this? You know what I'm saying? But you kind of just take it piece by piece. For me, it's just about trusting the ensemble that I'm with, the people that I'm working with. And that's not just, the people that you see on the screen. That's the people behind the scenes. That's Melissa. Shout out to Melissa, the costume designer.
Melissa.
You hear? That's Melissa. Melissa, yo, what up? So I'll talk about that for a second. Like, even like having my fitting, like there was a lot of questions that I had. How am I going, Tony Stark's, who is this person, and the style and everything. And then once she put me in that gray trench with the collar flipped up and then it was a very collaborative too, because I would have ideas. Yo, I think I want my earring to be mad big this episode, and shit like that. And then I just kind of looked at myself in the mirror, and then it was like it all started to come together. And then you go to the set, and then I'm working with my brother right here, who we've just developed a chemistry throughout the 3 seasons. We also didn't plan these fits. This is just same vibe. You know what I'm saying? We just knew without, we just knew we was just on the same type of time. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like shit like that, just kind of like everything just starts to flow and everything just starts to go. And I think little by little, we just knock them down. Each day is a new scene. 2, 3, 4, 5 scenes a day, and then at the end, shout outs to everybody in the editing room, because we made some magic, I think.
Okay, all right. Marcus, you want to jump on that? Power, you want to jump on that?
Let me see. I mean, I'm not really much in the episode,
but just in general,
just
though.
the cab driver in the beginning, real quick.
But you killed that scene, kid.
I feel like just even throughout all the seasons, I didn't experience any challenge. I'm gonna be real. It wasn't challenging to me, but I don't mean that in a in a cocky way. I mean that in the sense of like we had a lot of fun on set. We had a lot of information accessible to us, and we essentially became the Wu-Tang Clan for this generation. It felt like, you know what I mean? Because the beautiful thing about clap for that. The beautiful thing is what y'all are seeing on screen, like from season 1 to season 2 to season 3, you're literally watching us build a chemistry in real time. That's really what was going on. You know what I mean? Like if you go back to season 1, a lot of us was at odds and da-da-da-da-da. When we got on set, as RZA said, this is 9 alpha males. It's hard for us to, for every day to be just la-di-da. So there was definitely times where, we had to get to learn each other and get to get a vibe of each other. So season 1 was like that. And then season 2 was literally us coming together. There's an episode 6 that I believe Mario directed, Mario Van Peebles. Shout out to him. Word. And that's the episode where we create Protect Your Neck. And in that episode, it's like, that was the episode where it really felt like, son, we the Wu-Tang, so it's just been a beautiful process, man. I definitely know it's been hard for y'all, for sure. But yeah, it's been beautiful.
I tell you one thing, when it gets a little crazy, I gotta call a group dinner.
Chill.
No. I'm just saying. And the coolest thing, when you get to the group dinner and everybody order all the food and all that, it's just like the Wu-Tang Clan. When the bill comes back, you know what I mean? But sometimes you got to break bread. You know what I mean? To unify. You know what I mean? And like I said, I wanted to say this to y'all gentlemen in front of this audience. As a man, I'm proud of the evolution of manhood I see you guys growing into, man. It's been beautiful to watch, and I appreciate you.
But how does it feel for you to watch your life played out again? Those special moments, milestone moments that happen.
I mean, it's of course it's joy. Like usually and sadly, we get biographies of people that passed away or people that, serial killers and shit like that, you know what I mean? And all that. It's a blessing that the Wu-Tang and the path that we traveled is a good roadmap for others to travel, and it's great that we're able to capture it. So there's a lot of joy in it, brother.
Now, can I piggyback on that real quick?
Please do.
It's relatable through the struggle, right? So we get the struggle. But it's how they come together and make something out of it. It's just like you said, not to take shots, but that is a full-blown, that's a C4 at your dome. You know what I'm saying? Nah, we took a shot. You know what I mean? There's purpose behind the creation. That's why I've always been inspired by OG. You know what I'm saying? How you put this whole thing together, for real.
It's amazing. I want to say it's the first episode of the season where through a flood, you lost 300 songs, right? Floppy disk. Anybody know what a floppy? Yeah? You do? Okay, I know how old you are. But but soon after that, some of the biggest albums ever made were made. Did you lose those before the Takao album?
Yeah, I lost it before Takao, and that's kind of one reason why Method Man feels Takao is not as good as the ones after him, because it was like the flood just happened, and so now we gotta make an album, yo. You know what I mean? I think the only beat that was still living was Brain to Pain, and that's because it was made on the SP 1200, and it was like already tracked or something. But we lost a lot. You know what I mean? But I think through, as they say, through great struggle, you know what I mean, or necessity, builds genius, they say, out of necessity. So I think the pressure of having to create so much, I just stayed in the basement, yo. You know, there's a scene in episode 1 where his girl comes in there and he want to get busy with her, and she like, nah, like you don't smell so good, you know what I mean? And so it's like, yeah, I used to be in the basement like that, bro. People thought I had onions under my arm.
It was up.
You know what I mean? But
That
that's
actually happened
determination.
too? Was that based on reality?
Hey, listen, bro, when you, that's why the old school called it the funk. But but then as you watch it and you see, we try to show you how different brothers in the crew, like Dave East playing Method Man, becoming the first one to sign that contract. You know what I mean? And giving me the confidence that, yo, brother, I trust in you, I believe in you. That's like giving somebody a sword. It's like giving them a bag of money. It's like giving them an amulet of power, because it's like, okay, he trusts me. I'm going to deliver for him. You know what I mean? And then when all the other brothers, and that catalyst made the other brothers join. So I've said it many times. I don't want to repeat this, but I guess I'll share with you guys. I always say that a tip of a spear cannot pierce without all the force behind it. And so I was the tip of the spear, and all that force pushed behind it. And the same thing with this show, yo.
I think it was, I like, what makes this so surreal? A lot of what happened in your career, I had a chance to be there. So it's kind of like in this moment just got taken aback, right? Because I'm thinking about episode, I want to say 2, where it shows the relationship between you and Old Dirty, right? And him wanting to sign a Def Jam, right? And you guys having this deal with Elektra and chasing him around and trying to get the album done. That whole your relationship with him, I think, was very special. You were always extremely, at least when I saw you, extremely patient with him. Watching TJ play that out, how did it make you feel? Do you ever not be the director, and you're back into that moment?
Well, TJ did such a good job, especially in the top of episode 3 when they're sitting there. He's doing that. Would you do that sound? No, the other one. Yeah. When he did that, and once again we had Mario Van Peebles direct that. Listen, it's I can't even put the words on it. I'm actually going to pass you the mic because it's really a lot of emotions on that.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah, I mean, we try to be emotionally authentic. I mean, I think that was when I first met him. One, you always beware of meeting your heroes, but that wasn't the case immediately. He was so humble, and sometimes they have to, especially people who are famous for in a different field. Like, do they really kind of understand how Hollywood works? Because Hollywood works a certain way, whether we like it or not, and how to the need to be able to tell dramatic stories. And he was willing to go there, because we can't have a show if he wasn't willing to go there. If he wasn't willing to go there about his own character, about his own relationships, there's no show. And that, when it was very clear that he was willing to be honest, portray himself as more vulnerable than he probably really was at those points in life for the sake of television, and to be the one to be willing to do that, you know what I mean? I think that says a lot about him, and it made it possible for us to do this in the first place. Yeah.
All right, man. Thank you, man. Thank you for sharing. Dave East, what's next for you in acting, man?
I don't know, man. I'm trying to do it.
I know you get asked this a lot. People want you to compare what it's like being an actor and what it's like being a rapper. But how different are they?
Night and day. I would say night and day. Like, you got to get up real early to act.
Literally night and day.
Is that it?
The timing is all the way different. And just for me, like, rap comes so natural. it was and a big shout out to my guys right here because I was watching them through a lot of it and just seeing how they was moving. But it just take another level of focus for me. You know what I mean?
How has this experience helped you in your music videos?
My videos, I'll be wanting to direct them now.
Yeah, there you go. Right? There you go. Okay, I'm not mad at that. I want to we got a few minutes left, and so I was just handed some questions from the audience. So we're going to take some of these questions. Damn it, these keyboards, boy. People, I mean, it makes manuscript really crappy. You know what I mean? I can read that one. All right, okay, I can read that one. When your basement, I did that? We talked about that? Yeah, we did talk about that. Yeah. Y'all not listening? Why am I here? All right. This is from Ken. Here we go. What was it like telling true stories and portraying real people? And for those who were there, how did it feel seeing those events unfold again on screen?
Yeah, you asked that already.
Damn, I'm pretty damn good at this.
All right, cool.
Y'all all biters, man. These are biters.
I wrote down your questions.
All right. If the Wu was founded in 2023, what would that look and sound be like?
Wow. Wow, hold on, beautiful people. Hold on, beautiful people. We don't know how it would sound, but we can see how it looks right here, y'all. All right?
Good answer.
You like that?
Good answer.
You said that like the dude from
Okay. Okay, yeah, this is good though. I was an excellent reader back in the day. RZA told me that when he was in grade school, and Raekwon, and Power, that they scholastically ranked extremely high. So in the 8th grade, they were reading at a 12.9 level, right? Is that what you said? Right? And so when you look at all the Wu-Tang Clan members, even though they seem rough and rugged around the edge, these were some really intelligent individuals. Y'all prided yourselves on that, right? Yeah. And even he can't read this, you know, with all that said. All right, so what was it like? What was it like being directed by Mario Van Peebles?
Hey, yo,
That's an icon.
Yeah, Mario Van Peebles was like, a real mentor on set. I felt like it was school. Like before this experience, I never had like a real acting class. I just like learned on set. And like when we did episode 3, it was like real intense. He was making sure he was making sure that it was gonna be a classic that it is. Have y'all seen episode 3? Okay. Okay, so yeah. He made sure that it was like that we was on point. Like how you feel about Mario?
Oh yeah, Mario. I felt like he was the director that could communicate with all of us. Like, you know, OG was just saying it was a bit of a task. It's probably for the entire behind the scenes, but you know, and amongst each other. But it was like there was a lot of love in it. Everybody knew what we came to do, and to pull it off this way, we had, you know, it just had to be like that, you know. And yeah, Mario Van Peebles was able to like. We would listen as a collective. Everybody can't do that. So
yeah, no, I feel like Mario was like an anchor for us. You know, like shout out to Chris Robinson because he was like our anchor in the beginning. Like that was my first time
episode
ever.
1?
Yeah, the pilot, like the first episode that we ever did. I remember Chris came in and he was like, boom, like nah, it's like this. Pull back, you're doing too much, and I was just listening. And then I think for season 2, when Mario came, it was kind of the same kind of deal. And then he directed a couple episodes season 2 and then came back and did season 3. But he's a legend for a reason, you know? Like, he had us doing
Ab workouts, yeah.
And then he would be like, yeah, come, like, look at the camera, And then he'd be like, no, you got to do it like this. And then,
You
know,
thinking
like,
it's 30 seconds and it's 5 minutes. You holding the core workout.
Right. So he just kind of kept us on our toes,
Mario
like
can't.
physically and also like metaphorically. He kept us on our toes and held us accountable to really give the best performance we could give.
All right. Alex, I'm going to throw this at you.
Uh-oh, okay.
I mean, you guys have touched on it, but I don't think you've done it in detail. You got tremendous people in your writing room. So the question is, describe a typical writing session. Who's involved? How do you navigate story arcs for so many characters?
So we start off every season just me and him, right? This is what do we want to do? Do we want to deviate from what we had previously talked about? So sometimes it's like a month, me and him. It'll just be me and him. And then when we start the actual writer's room, this year we had started with like a little mini room, but typically when all the writers come, we have what we want to do like on a board. It'll be every episode, line up with the character, and kind of there'll be stuff already of like what we want to do with each character. And then it'll be like, you ask the writers to absorb that. Are there questions? Do you disagree with anything? You know, and we start from there and there. And once we kind of get a sense of where we're starting and going, and we're kind of all on the same page, then we go episode by episode. And then when we get an idea of what each episode is basically kind of going to be, then we start with episode 1. And then we go, all right, this is what's going to happen. We break it down because every episode with Hulu, there are act breaks because for some people on the platform, there's commercials. So it's like, okay, act 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where do we go? And then we start lining it up, and then we just work it out, and then we'll go. When we progress enough with the episode, I'll say it's time to go to cards, and then on the cards we write interior every scene. This is what happens, and even lines of dialogue. We need this character to say this line, da 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 da. And then when it gets to a point where we feel like we're all good on the cards, we'll all sit there and think about, ask the writers, are we good? Do you have something to say? Do we like this, not like this, do we agree? And when we're kind of in enough of a consensus, and sometimes it'll get to a point where like, nah, we're gonna do this, you know what I mean? And then we hand it off to whoever's gonna write that episode.
Wow, okay, y'all.
And he skipped the, and we actually will some days take the coffee walk.
Every day, yeah, that's right, yeah.
You know, we keep the camaraderie in the writer's room. And when me and Alex first was looking for writers, we actually, I don't know if we told the writers this, but we actually also casted the writers like Wu-Tang Clan members. Like, you know what I mean? We knew that Gabe, you was the Jizza, all right?
Well, hold on, we knew he called himself the Jizza. He said, I'm the Jizza. I'm like,
he said it. That's right.
Wait a minute. By the way, there's nothing like going on a coffee walk with RZA repeating a Norm Macdonald joke that literally lasts from the 10-minute walk of when we walk to the Starbucks, order the coffee from the Starbucks, get the coffee. The joke's not over yet, and then it's over. That's one of the highlights of this series for me personally.
This question. Did you make Alex Tse your writing partner because of your fascination with Chinese martial
I think
art?
Gabe wrote that. To bust my fucking balls.
Oh, that's not what it says. My bad.
No, when he decided we were going to be partners, I said this is cultural reappropriation.
All right. I ain't gonna say nothing. Okay, let me see. Maybe we can end with this question.
While you looking that up, they put a lot of writers in front of me. We joined. I had made the deal with Imagine to option the story. It took a few years. I've been through a few writers, but when I met Alex, and we went to that restaurant on Beverly Hills on the side, and we sat there, and we talked. It was like, nah, this is the guy right here. He gets it. First of all, he's a hip hop head. All right. I didn't even know about JID until you put in JID on me. This guy is into hip hop. He gets it. He understands the strategy and the writing techniques of Hollywood, and we immediately, within a week, was like, okay, yeah, this is a good team, and we actually formed a company called XDM Media that will continue to bring y'all new product and great product.
That's amazing. And Alex has an amazing wife and beautiful kids. I've had the privilege of sitting and eating lunch with them in the Valley. So thank you, man.
Thank you, bro.
Trying to make up for that racist joke I told. All right. We'll conclude with this. Well, you know, RZA came on our show, Sway in the Morning, this morning, and would have to be in Tracy. I have to shout them out every time I say that show. And you know, we talked about what was it like in the beginning for him, you know, and what was the goal and the purpose, and how did he lasso in all those alpha males? And he said, I told him, I got a 5-year plan. I need 5 years, I'm gonna make you number one. And he became a man of his word, you know. He did it, and he did more than that. You know, we're talking 30 years later. And he's still growing, you know. And this is the blueprint. I'm curious to what's the next 5 years? Have you made that plan yet?
Still writing that, you know what I mean? We're still writing that. So I'm gonna do an old politician diversion here. What's the plan for these gentlemen over here? You know what I mean? The season is done. First of all, you guys fulfilled. Was this a good ride?
Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
Respect. And if we call you guys again, you gonna come party with us again?
Sure.
Yeah, where at though?
It's a where at?
We're gonna need a dinner first.
You need a dinner first, so I have to sit down and work it all out. Yeah, so.
Yeah, but what are your plans? Like,
So we just talked about the Dirt McGirt spinoff. No, I'm joking, man. That would be dope though. But I'm working on a lot of music right now. I got my own clothing line, Parallel Worldwide. And I just dropped a single called Put You On. Make sure y'all type in TJ Adams, Put You On. Because I just put y'all on, did I? Did I not, yeah?
For me personally, besides acting, I've been dabbing in the writing game. I have a play that I'm in the process of trying to get produced. It's called Spades. Y'all know the card game Spades? Word. So I have a play that's kind of based off of that. I'm also co-writing on a film right now. So yeah, I'm doing a little writing too. Yeah.
Dave got a nice store. Tell him where the store at, man.
Oh yeah, if you're in the New York City area, I just opened, not just, but we've been open like going on a year. But I got like my own boutique with clothes, all my merch, just different stuff in there. It's called From the Deli on 145th Street and St. Nicholas Avenue in Harlem. So if you free, pull up. You know what I mean? Come through. We open Monday through Sunday. Pull up.
Pull up a chair, man. It's a great hangout. All right, Sadiq?
Yeah, I got a project called Kemba coming out later this year. I'm not sure exactly when, but that's some joint I did in November in Atlanta. So that'll be coming out. And yeah, hoping to make my theatrical debut, like on Broadway or off Broadway, because I come from the theater. That's where my heart is. So hopefully y'all buy tickets and y'all see me on stage, you know, playing another character. That's one of my goals for this year. And then 5 years, you know, businesses, investments, all types of shit is going on.
Like that. Shamik?
It's a very long answer, so I will say that I'm inspired by the idea of God, everything that is and isn't, and creation itself. So as a creative being, it goes a lot further than films, television, music, fashion, etc. I think I'm very focused on purposeful impact. And yeah.
I love it. Well, I want to say congratulations to everybody on this stage. You made history. You truly made history by remaking history. And like you said, RZA, you consistently give us a blueprint on how we can grow and take things much further. He's a really kind-hearted individual. I never see him ever lose his balance in all the years that I've known him, and I've always seen him only offer a lot of opportunity. You know, same with Alex. Alex and RZA are close with my partner, DJ King Tech. And I swear, man, they pretty much stole my partner from me. Even when he calls me, he's talking about Alex and RZA, you know. And him and I have been together since since we were in high school. So, but I want to say thank you guys for what you brought to the world. I say let's give them a standing ovation for this. Thank you. Wu-Tang and American Saga, 92nd Street Wide, thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you to all of you. You want to say something in closing?
No, thank you, Hulu. Thank you, 92Y. Bong, 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 bong.
Shout out to Hulu. Hulu, you did it big. Give it up for Hulu. Come on.